Hi guys, my name is Claire Simoon, and I am here with Gemma and Brett Walden from Constellations at Mad Cow Theater. Gemma is actually my first returning guest.
That's an honor.
So welcome back.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Brett.
Thank you.
First time.
Thank you.
Have you guys ever done a show together before?
Yes.
Yes, that's how we met. We met doing Romeo and Juliet in New York City. How many years ago?
9?
Yeah.
Was
8
it
or
9? 2008?
Yeah. I was Tybalt, and Gemma was Benvolio.
Yep. And since then, we keep getting cast in shows, and people don't know that we're together. Like, the director didn't know we were together for this.
What's it like doing a show with your spouse?
I think what helped being in a relationship was the intimacy and we sort of
Trust.
And that trust of like we didn't have that hurdle initially of like, so we're okay to kiss today, right? We're gonna or knowing like it's coming on Thursday, we have to kiss for the first time. It was just we can do that, that's fine.
So since the plot is kind of non-linear in the show, what are the challenges of that?
For me, it might not be linear in a traditional sense, but for me personally, I find that even though we're seeing multiple universes of each moment, I feel like it's linear. You see the beginning, you see where they meet, you see where they go on their first date, you see how that ends up, you see them jumping forward to breaking up and the after effect and re-meeting, you see, why they broke up. So it does pick out key moments of the relationship, so it's linear in that sense. It just doesn't follow a traditional linear sense.
In a more traditional play, you have a linear plot that your character starts in one place and they have to end up in a different place. It might be more emotional or they might go through some turmoil, but you have the opportunity to sort of build to it, and you have the lines that justify it and the acts that justify it. You can feel it throughout, and this one really forces you to jump into an emotion right away and then be able to let it go right away.
How do you distinguish between all of the different universes?
So in the script, it's past, present, and future, and it's bold, italic, and regular. And that's pretty much the only stage direction that we have.
Well, and again, it's context clues. You sort of, a lot of times we worked from the end of the scene to see where they ended up, and we had to find how we would get there. So, for instance, in the scene where it says he hits her, I mean, that was a pretty big clue that starting from that scene, it needed to justifiably get to that point. Mm-hmm. So it couldn't be like, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden it had to kind of start in that place where it was just like, clearly here's an angry man. It's
such a joy to be able to play all of these different characters, even though they're all related. It's the same person, but just it's like different aspects of them.
What is your opinion? Do you think there's parallel universes?
Ooh.
I've always thought so. I've always liked to think so. The idea that making a decision one way, leads you down a different path than if you had made it another way, and that somewhere out there is a version of you that made that other decision and sort of ended up. It was in my wedding vows. The idea of what if this hadn't happened and what if this hadn't happened, and everything had to line up perfectly in order for the two of us to meet. It's sort of that same idea. There's another Brett out there who stayed in Los Angeles, and and I'm the one who moved to New York and got into Romeo and Juliet, So it's very interesting to think about, and the science behind it is fairly sound.
Yeah, the theoretical science behind it supports it. From my research, I'm figuring out why they believe that if time is so far apart, what we know to be time, like then the future already exists and the past already exists, and it's all the same time. But for me personally, I believe that you're in charge of your own fate. And then that decides what's happening. Ooh!
Wow, we've never talked about this.
So, yes, that'll be our conversation after this.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you! I know you've probably not heard of Constellations. It's a British play. You should come see it. You're going to relate to it.
This has been Claire Simoon talking to the stars of
Constellations!